Hi, I'm Luana Rubin from Equilter.com, and I'm here at the DAR Museum, the Daughters of the American Revolution, with Alden O'Brien. We are down in the storage area, and Alden is going to tell us about this area and what you keep here.
Well, this is our dedicated quilt and textile storage, and we have most of the quilts on these rolling racks for the most compact use of the space. And each quilt is individually boxed with acid-free tissue in these acid-free boxes, and each box has the identification and the thumbnail photo of the quilt, but of course its location is also logged into our computer database, so we always know exactly where everything is. And we also have other things like woven coverlets and textile fragments and many hand-woven towels and tablecloths and napkins and other items of American early textile history.
And what I love about this space is every box holds a story.
It sure does.
And Alden has offered to tell us one of those stories today about one of the quilts.
That's right.
So let's go ahead and take one out and you can tell us all about it.
This is one that's going to be in the exhibit that opens in October, so let's take a look at her.
So Alden is going to tell us about a quilt exhibit that you're having here.
Yes, it's called Eye on Elegance, Early Quilts of Maryland and Virginia, and it runs from October 3rd of this year through Labor Day weekend of 2015, and it will feature over 30 quilts pre-1860 from Maryland, Virginia, and just a few from just outside that region that show how the style spreads. And this is one of the quilts in the exhibit. It was made in Baltimore around 1830, and it shows some of the really elegant and beautiful bed coverings that were made in this area with these beautiful chintz appliques. We will have also Baltimore and Maryland albums and a lot of beautiful pieced-work quilts as well.
Oh, wonderful. Well, let's take a look at a couple more quilts.
Okay.
A lot of times with these vintage quilts, the colors seem to be subdued, but this one is really an exception, is it?
Well, we have a lot of bright reds and greens of this period, partly because the dye technology was improving and they were figuring out better ways of getting color-fast reds and greens. Not all of them are, but in this case it's looking pretty good. This quilt was made possibly by, but certainly for, Mary Manakee of Montgomery County, and that's just north of Washington, D.C. And also in the exhibit is a quilt made by her sister, which is a pieced quilt. So you'll see both from the same family.
Oh, wonderful. This piece has an amazing story that I would love to hear you tell.
Yes, we're lucky that we know the stories for many of our quilts. The majority come to us with the family history intact, and this one is interesting because it was made by a mother and her daughters together shortly before the mother died young in 1813. So we can put a firm date of circa 1810 on this quilt, which is supported by the dates and styles of these beautiful block prints that you see throughout the quilt. And the quilt descended in the family of the youngest daughter, who was only 14 when her mother died. And the story goes that she quilted and added the last two borders, the white border and the last printed border, and quilted it. You can see the grid quilting is very different from the quilting and stuffed work in the other borders. So she added that later. So it's kind of an intergenerational effort, which really speaks to how quilting so often is a family and a community and a shared activity. It's a little bit of a mystery what happened to the family after the mother died, because the father had already died. It's hard to find them in censuses. Women are a little bit invisible, but we know through the quilt that she made it, and this passed down through the generations until it was donated by a great-great-granddaughter.
Marvelous. Well, I want to thank you for bringing us down into the storage room, and we're going to have some more videos here at the DAR Museum.
Thank you.
Thank you.